Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video. My mother and I haven't talked in years after she divorced my father and ran away with another man. I was still in high school then. It was very unexpected. I never thought that my mother would run away. After I went off to college, I was 20 then, I saw my mother and her new husband. I tried to talk to my mother, but she refused to even look at me and went away. The man who was with her was her new husband. He gave me his number and asked me to call him if I ever needed his help. Recently, she showed up in front of my apartment and said that she needed my help. I was shocked and angry and told her to get out. She refused and said that she was desperate for my help as she was running away from my stepfather, her husband. Before I could even say anything, she pulled me outside and asked me to get in the car. After we got in the car, I asked my mother to explain what was happening and why she asked me to get in the car so abruptly. I was really scared because I knew for sure that she was not in her right mind. She kept on saying that my stepfather was going to do something bad to her, so she was running away from him. To be really honest, I was really very scared for a moment. I know she left me and my father, but I felt pity towards her. I was still in doubt, though. I was not really sure if she was speaking the truth. After driving for some time, I told her that I wanted to use the washroom and also needed to make a call. She was really hesitant, but then agreed. I went to the washroom and called my stepfather. I was scared to ask him directly about my mother in case she was actually running away from him. I told him that I wanted to see my mother, but he told me that my mother had run away from home that day itself. I asked him the reason, and he said that she was supposed to be admitted to the hospital that day. He said that my mother was undergoing treatment and was going to be admitted that day, but she deceived her husband and snuck out quietly. According to him, my mother was diagnosed with schizophrenia about a year ago. She tried her best to control all her hallucinations and thoughts on her own and took medicines. But last year it got really bad, so she had to see the doctor. But even after requesting her multiple times, she refused to go to the doctor or see a therapist. She would always throw tantrums, saying that she is fine and refused to receive any kind of treatment. I was really scared because I never knew that my mother had schizophrenia. I decided to take her back. I told my stepfather that she was actually with me. I told him that I was going to take her back and asked him to text me the place where I was supposed to take her back. I returned to the car and told her that I was going to drive for some time and asked her to sleep for a while. She started yelling at me and said that she was going to be the one to drive. I told her that if she was not going to let me drive, I was not going with her anymore. So she had to agree at last. We got in and she told me the place I was supposed to drive to. I pretended to drive there until she fell asleep. After she fell asleep, I turned my car and drove to the place my stepfather asked me to. I met my stepfather in front of the hospital and he woke my mother up. After waking up, my mother started yelling at me and said that I betrayed her. I told her that I was doing it for her own good, but she refused to understand that she needed professional help. She kept on saying that she was fine and that she would be fine after taking her medicines, but my stepfather at last somehow managed to get her to go to the hospital and I came back home. A few days later, I called my stepfather and asked him how my mother was doing. He said that she was doing just fine. He helped me FaceTime with my mother. She did not really talk to me that much while FaceTiming, so I visited her. She looked fine, but she continued to blame me for taking her back and called me a traitor and said that she did not want a son like me. I don't know why, but for some reason I felt guilty. I cannot help but think that I'm an a-hole for taking back my mother to my stepfather. Am I the a-hole? Many of you said that I shouldn't have trusted my stepfather so quickly. I did not. He actually showed me all of my mother's reports and diagnosis and everything else. I was skeptical for a long time. He even offered to let me stay with her in the hospital until I was sure he was not lying. He even said that I could talk to my mother's doctor if I wanted to, and even told me to call my father and ask him about it when I was waiting for my mother. I called my father and asked him if what my stepfather was saying was true, and he said that he knew that my mother had problems like that for a long time. Even though he did not know what it was called, he knew that she had hallucinations and impulsive thoughts. She never wanted to accept it, so she never got any professional help back then. So, yeah, that is why I trusted my stepfather. I did not write about the whole thing because I did not want the post to be too long. I want to thank all of you for showing me all the support. I'm really glad for all the positive comments and the encouragement that I've received from you all. I'm really very thankful. Many of you were really curious about my mother and how she's doing. Well, she is doing really well. I've been visiting her from time to time, and her husband has been nothing but sweet. She has been talking to me too recently. I'm glad that she is finally opening up to me. Also, before any of you ask, I have decided to forgive my mother for running away back then. Anyways, my mother is doing much better right now, and I am really glad. I'm really glad to have so much support from you all. Honestly, I was not really planning on giving this update, but then I thought that giving this update would be a good idea. My mother has been doing really well now. She is able to control her emotions and impulsive thoughts. She also is able to tell her hallucinations apart from reality. So, yeah, she has been doing really great. Also, how in my original post I said that I really felt guilty for letting my mother get professional help against her will? Well, my mother recently apologized to me for all the things that she said to me when she was angry at me. She also said that she was really thankful to me for forcing her to get the much needed professional help. I'm really glad that she finally apologized to me. She also apologized for leaving me back when I was in high school. She said that the real reason she left me was because of her schizophrenia and the things that she kept on seeing. She met her husband, my stepfather, later after leaving and got married. According to her, he has been really supportive of her. He took care of her all the time. He was also the one who convinced her to get help from professionals. I'm really grateful that she met such an amazing guy. Also, some of you kept on asking about my life. Well, there is nothing much about me. I'm in my late 20s and have a good and stable job. I'm also married to an amazing girl. I met her when we were in college, and we have a cute little baby girl. She's literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. I recently introduced them to my mother and stepfather. They were really happy to meet them. I'm really glad that I'm finally able to reconnect with my mother, even though the beginning was quite unexpected. NTA, there is no need for you to feel guilty. I know that it is difficult. I know that your mother might have said something to you that might have made you think that way, but let me tell you again, you are not the a-hole. You don't have to feel guilty about it. You're doing just fine. Just think of it as a bitter medicine that you have to take to get better. It might taste bad, but you feel much better later. NTA. No, don't feel guilty about it. As a parent of a 3 years old, I often feel that way too. There are times I feel bad for forcing my son to do things that he really does not want to. But then again, it is all for his betterment. It just happened a few days ago too. My son really wanted to eat pizza for dinner, but I already gave him pizza for lunch and he had pizza the previous day. I felt really bad for not letting him have pizza, but at the end of the day, it was best for him to not eat pizza for dinner. So, yeah, there is no need for you to feel guilty. NTA, you don't have to feel guilty. Your mother was not thinking logically. As her son, you did what was best for her. Helping her to escape treatment and everything seems like a really nice thing, as that is what she would have preferred. But then again, you cannot always do what you like. By doing that, you would have satisfied your mother, but then again, the consequences would have been disastrous. We cannot do what we want in life all the time. I want to spend my whole life without working, but I can't do that now. Can I? So, yeah, there is no need for you to feel guilty about it. Your mother will be grateful to you for what you did, even though she keeps on cursing you now. I, 19 male, have a baby brother named Ian, 4 male, that I just love. He's my guy. I thought kids were noisy, but Ian is my star in the sky. He's my half brother. My dad, 45 male, married his wife, 30 female, 6 years ago and had my brother. But I don't really care. I'm always buying us matching shit, shirts, pants, sneakers, caps. It doesn't matter. My dad is actually in love with this and is always taking pictures of us. I, like any normal guy, have 2 Instagram, one for family and close friends and the other for fun. My personal IG is private and I have like 30 followers and I follow like 30 people because, as I said, it's private. Whenever I take a photo with Ian, mostly when we are matching, I post it there. Both my dad and his wife follow that IG and know that I post Ian there. My dad has no problem, and I thought his wife didn't too. TBH, she's not really a social media gal, and I rarely see her on her phone. I guess it was one of those times when she just checked and saw a pic of Ian and me on her feed. The next time I went to visit my dad, she pulled me aside with my dad there and said that what I've been doing is disrespectful because I should have asked for their permission to expose their kid on social media. And she demanded I delete all of the photos because Ian isn't someone I should be showing off as a trophy. I was honestly appalled, and my dad was too, because I've never given the impression that I see my brother like that and that I truly love him. I apologized, but said that her comment was rude because she doesn't get to project her feelings onto mine. My dad said I don't have to delete the pics since all of them are harmless, but she said I was an AH and that as Ian's mother, she gets to determine those things and that I could either delete them or she could sue me. My girlfriend agrees with her because a mom knows best, so I'm not sure. ESH. A lot of parents don't want their kids' pictures on Insta. A private profile isn't truly private. You always ask before posting pics of kids. Always. Your stepmom's way of asking you to remove the photos was way out of line, too. There is a civil way to ask. Your stepmom went full BTFD. Your dad should have done a much better job protecting you from her irrational flip out. NAH. You want to show off your brother. Your stepmom is concerned with having her child's face posted anywhere on the internet where she didn't consent. Here's the thing. If you don't delete the pictures, it's pretty much guaranteed your stepmom will start limiting and or supervising your time with your brother. She's his mom, and she has that right. You've made it clear you won't follow her rules. So what's more important to you, your time with your brother or the likes your photos get on IG? ESH. It doesn't matter why you post or how many people see them. If a parent doesn't want their child on social media, you don't post them. I don't have or want kids, and I love social media, but I have never posted a child on social media without permission. And if I did, and they asked me to take them down, I'd take it down, no arguments. Sure, she could have approached it better, and she should have spoken to your father first to get on the same page. So I guess she is an AH too. So I'll go with ESH. But she is an AH for her approach, whereas you are an AH for not taking them down when she asked. Throwaway, because my place of work is on my original account. I, 25 male, have been dating my girlfriend Lacey, 24 female, for 6 years. We met when she was a freshman because she became friends with one of my close friends, and I was enamored with her immediately after seeing her. After a couple of years of saving, we decided we wanted to take the next step and buy a house together. Nothing big, just like an apartment or a townhouse. With the help of Lacey's father, we purchased a townhouse a month ago. Now, for some background, that led to my decision not to give my mom a key. My mother has never liked Lacey. There was and is always a complaint. Her dyed hair, her revealing clothes, her clothing style, her facial piercings, her tattoos, etc. The most recent complaint is that Lacey only works a few part time hours while I work full time. Lacey is a PhD neuroscience student. But even if she wasn't a student, it's not her business how our dynamic works. If she can't act amicably towards my other half, who has been nothing but kind to her, then I don't want her having access because I know she will intrude. On to the issue. 2 weeks ago, we held a housewarming party for our parents after we were mostly settled in. After dinner, while we were all drinking coffee in the living room, my mom asked me when she would be getting an emergency key. I told her we gave it to our friends because they are closest. That's a lie. We gave one to Lacey's parents. She got upset, saying emergency keys are for family only and she needs one. I told her she didn't need one, and if something happened, my friends had access. I could tell it upset her, but she stopped. The next day, I got a call from her, and when I answered, she was wailing, saying she knew Lacey was up to this. I told her it was both of our decisions to give the key to our friends and that Lacey isn't an evil villain conspiring against her. She then switched to anger, saying I can't cover for her all the time, to which I hung up. Ever since, I've been getting guilt-trippy texts from my mother and my father about me breaking her heart because I'm shutting her out. AITA? Is it really that bad she does not have a key? Well, I took the advice of the comments. I texted mom something along the lines of, no, you will not be getting a key, and that is my decision alone based on your treatment of Lacey through our entire relationship. I do not want to make her feel unwelcome in a home that she also owns. You and I both know that you will go snooping and show up uninvited, and I will not tolerate that. You need to let go of this competition between you and Lacey because I will always choose Lacey. But much longer. I'm getting chewed out. But the alternative is my girlfriend and I being walked all over. So I tried to talk to my dad about it since my mom is just on an angry rampage. No luck. My mother has escalated to calling, texting Lacey to insult her, so I'm just blocking them both for now. I sent my mom a final text letting her know I was disappointed that she couldn't consider anyone else's feelings but hers, and if I decided to reach out again, it would be on my time, and that I wouldn't hesitate to re-block if she spoke to Lacey like that again. NTA, but please know YWBTA if you gave your mother a key at this point. Adult temper tantrums like this are unacceptable, and your boundary is beyond reasonable. I hope it's clear to you, but it's very clear to me that this has nothing to do with an emergency key and everything to do with your mom being unable to get what she wants. NTA, your mother is doing an excellent job of demonstrating why you should never give her a key under any circumstances. In fact, you should probably warn building security about her in case she tries to go around you because there is no damn way she's worried about emergencies and not either digging up dirt on Lacey or simply making her feel unwelcome in her own home. And while I'm sure you'll get plenty of just no mill recommendations, if you didn't craft this story based on the ones already there, please take a good long read. 'Cause I'm betting you'll spot a lot of familiar behaviors. NTA at all. In fact, you get the Awesome Boyfriend Award. What I would do is send your mom and dad the following. Mom, I love you very much. However, in the last 6 years, you have made it very clear that you don't like Lacey. You have blamed her for everything under the sun and have had enough. First, you will not be getting an emergency key. They are not just for family. Emergency keys are for who we decide will get them. I decided that as you clearly disapprove of my partner of 6 years, who I now share a mortgage with, you will not be getting one. Why? Because this is her home, and she has the right to feel that the home we share is her safe space. And knowing that someone who hates her has a key to come over whenever she wants and who does not respect her boundaries or my autonomy would not create a safe space. Further, your constant anger towards her is misplaced. If you, Dad, and I need to go to therapy as a family to discuss this further, please let me know when and where, and I will be there. It is insulting because you seem to believe after 6 years I don't know my own mind about the person I have decided to create a life with. If either of you decide to send me these crazy texts, my first decision will be to block your number. My second will be to go no contact with you. However, if you want to discuss this like adults, I'm available to meet you at the restaurant of your choice. That should send a strong message.